Hey everyone, and welcome to another Patreon request. This week we have one from Lukas. He's the newest member to support the channel, so if you want to be like him, you can go on my Patreon and do the same as him. You can ask me to review such classics as City of Ember. Yeah, what the hell is this? Up until this point, I had no idea what this movie was or that it even existed, and I've never even heard of the title before. So yeah, it apparently was a box office bomb from 2008. First Mars Needs Moms, then Oogie Loves, and now this. I'm just on a string of successes lately, right? Well, if this movie is gonna be on the same level as all of those movies, I'm sure I'm in for a real treat. Yeah, well, let's pop this in and see what we're gonna get. Ooh, a double-sided DVD. You know, this movie doesn't even have a Blu-ray release in the US, so that's a good sign too. Let's pop this in, well, see what we're getting ourselves into this week. I mean, it can't be too bad. I mean, what do I expect? It can't be nearly as bad as Holy crap, that movie was amazing! Where was this when I was a kid? I would have loved this at the time, especially in 2008. Oh my god, why did it take me this long to see this? What? Did I just find a hidden gem?
Well, for those of you who don't remember Walden Media, they were, at the time, taking all these children's books and adapting them for the big screen, which I feel was probably a response to the success of the Harry Potter series, and this all took place before the big young adult adaptations movement came in. Bridge to Terabithia, The Seeker, The Dark is Rising, The Chronicles of Narnia, and now this. I haven't read the original novel, so please mind any criticisms that may be improved by the text, but basically it's another postmodern children's book about a civilization hiding from the dangers of our own planet's current ecosystem. Is it global warming? Nuclear crisis? Well, it never goes into detail about it, so there's not really an urgent message about the environment. It instead decides to focus on the character's journey.
Patches so long, we have more patches than pipe.
The beginning of the film definitely has the feel of a future dystopian, but after that we enter a world that has de-evolved, as each citizen works for a certain job and contributes to society. It reminds me of The Giver, having an almost socialist government, but just like The Giver, it doesn't really get critical enough for me to think that there's any kind of moral being developed. We instead just follow two kids who instantly swap jobs. One goes to work for the pipes, while the other works as a human iPhone, being a messenger in a textless world.
Milder sent me. He did? He wants me to tell you that he can't come over for lunch today.
The whole community is run by the mayor, who happens to be Bill Murray. Yeah, that was the first thing that got me excited to watch this film, and of course, he's just once again being his typical laid-back self. I'm happy to see him as a wide-gutted politician, but it's also cool to see him have some pretty threatening moments. From what I can remember, that's new territory for him.
Name?
Lena Mayfleet.
Mayfleet?
May your feet be fleet.
The boy wants to work in the pipes because he believes he has a solution to the energy crisis, trying to find a way to sneak into the electricity services. The two main characters team up, only to discover the true reason for being in the city of Ember to begin with, and what the next step in history was meant to be.
Beg your pardon. So sorry.
Now, through it all, it's pretty obvious where the movie is headed. They need to escape the collapsing city and return to the real world. Without too many interesting conversations or events, you'd think this would be a pretty generic flick, which it kind of is, but I can't help but feel this constant energy throughout the runtime. We feel claustrophobic being underground for a majority of the time, and we get excited when they keep discovering clues to escaping the city. When they finally make it out, it's like a breath of fresh air, and it's so perfectly timed that I actually feel this rush of happiness. For being a film of very little expanded upon ideas, I'm surprised how invested I got with this journey.
Old scraper.
We got him, old scraper.
I like the Terry Gilliam and Tim Burton influence with the abstract and expressionist sets. I liked watching the handcrafted inventions work and trying to find ways to make them work. In that regard, it's pretty creative, even if it's a bit derivative. It's obvious at times that they're taking influence from other works, like the already mentioned The Giver, and I can't help but feel that the main trio is completely inspired by the movie adaptation of A Series of Unfortunate Events. The real weird problem with this movie is that they don't really go into detail about why they had to leave the face of the planet or what's happened since. Like, there's evidence of these warped giant beetles finding their way underground. So is that the kind of crap that's going on up there then? Have all the animals gotten huge and scary, making it impossible for humans to be on top of the food chain? Who knows, because we never find out.
It's not yours. Give me the box! No!
It's not really a movie I'd be too eager to get back to anytime soon, but it definitely has all the components for being a timeless classic, one that children especially would really enjoy. And yeah, don't be surprised if in like 10 years the movie has a sudden cult following. It's a movie that doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. It's just a fun adventure film. I really recommend it to children, but I also recommend it to people who probably skipped out on it in favor of WALL-E in 2008. Yeah, these two movies came out the same year. A story about humans running away from an uninhabitable Earth. Yeah, similar storylines. Maybe WALL-E kind of overshadowed this flick?
Thank you for watching the video. A special thanks to Chris, Lucas, and Ryan for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to be like them and get exclusive access to content and blogs, and even request reviews monthly, please click on the Patreon link, and thanks for your support.